Welcome to Unusual Due Diligence. I am your host, Poseidon, the mighty ancient god of the sea that animates me, the talking milkshake. In today's new episode, we take a look at something that was trending on Twitter recently, and by something, I mean Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic is the result of a hack that occurred in the year 2016. Now, while that story is itself interesting, there are 2 points that we need to pull up on the research device today. First, Ethereum Classic is remaining a proof-of-work solution, and yet still based on the same core code of Ethereum itself. In proof of work, miners are incentivized to find solutions to problems on the chain. This will be important in just a moment. Second, Ethereum is itself evolving over to a proof of stake solution. In this model, there are no miners. Instead, the incentives flow to holders of Ethereum to amass piles of Ethereum for staking rewards. Third, Ethereum proper isn't quite over to proof of stake and is actually still a proof of work today. So that means miners mine Ethereum on Ethereum. How many miners? Well, this article claims that just one population of miners is around 400,000. So let's just call it, quote, a lot, end quote. Now, those are some of the base facts, but let's put up a couple more. On the left side of the screen here is the chart for Ethereum Classic. Now, pulling up here on the right is the chart for Ethereum proper. The timescale is for all of time for both blockchains. Now, here's a chart for the coffee futures, showing a rather interesting bump that occurred around the same time Ethereum proper also spiked. Now, that is kind of interesting. Okay, so what do we know at this point? Let's review the arguments around Ethereum Classic and why it's being revived from the dead. Argument 1. What we know is that there's a certain contingent of people that believe that Ethereum Classic is going somewhere. Some argue to the moon, and others are argued to the grave. The belief, though, for the moonshot speculators is that the 400,000 miners, possibly millions of miners, are all about to be out of work. Therefore, the economic incentives for them to all switch all of their existing hardware and software infrastructure over to another mining proof-of-work solution is, in fact, very real. So what's the most effective way to get that done? The simple answer is just swap to Ethereum Classic. After all, as I mentioned earlier, the code is more or less the same. Therefore, these miners can start using their profits to invest and build out the Ethereum Classic ecosystem. In this way, it's conceptually possible that Ethereum Classic might see enough of a cult following to trade higher, perhaps an order of magnitude or more. Now, is that a convincing argument? Well, I will say that if you consider how many miners are out there and how many of them are about to be economically pressured to do something, that these miners are going to want to see Ethereum Classic get good and fast. However, this leads into argument 2. Argument 2. The miners may believe that they are operating on borrowed time. Their best hope, then, is one last big cash out. And how to do that? Well, the miners would want to initiate a pretty robust pump and dump scheme that pushes the price of Ethereum Classic to the upper stratosphere. What's funny about this is that if these miners succeed in doing exactly that, and at the same time, their investments in building out an economy around Ethereum Classic, if that just might happen to be successful, then the miners may not cash out. The economics may be in favor of them sticking around. There are certainly other arguments around the Ethereum Classic chain as I started to peel things back, but this is where we're beginning today. There's one small undeniable truth about it. When you look at this chart of Ethereum Classic, this clearly is not a dead chain. Instead, it's quite a bit alive. So is it possible Ethereum Classic might one day soar to the same heights of Ethereum today? Let's rephrase that question. Is Ethereum Classic economically incentivized to attract and invest in the mining ecosystem that supports it? Well, according to their webpage, this comment sure does seem to suggest exactly that. The question then is on the future. Well, that's hard to say, but I do know this. This is Unusual Due Diligence. Make waves in a classical kind of way, my friends.